Namaste. Welcome to Samskriti. In the Adhyatma Ramayana series, we are now in Sarga 4 of Aranyakanda. While travelling along the path shown by sage Agastya, Rama saw the aged eagle Jatayu sitting like a huge conical mountain. Rama was astonished seeing him and wondered aloud to Lakshmana, asking him to fetch his bow, thinking that it was a demon who was eating up the rishis and so ought to be killed. Hearing these words of Rama, the king of eagles was appalled and terrified and pleaded to Rama, saying that he is not to be killed by him, as he is a close friend of his father Dasharatha. And he introduced himself as an eagle by name Jatayu, and that he was Rama's well-wisher. Desirous of serving them, he told them that he would stay in Panchavati with the intention of welfare and that he shall provide protection for Sita when Rama and Lakshmana both happened to go to the forest to hunt. Hearing these words of the eagle, Rama praised him affectionately and asked him to stay near enough to protect their interests. After that, he along with his brother Lakshmana and Sita went to Panchavati. Reaching the banks of river Gomati, today's Godavari, Lakshmana built a roomy cottage for them to stay. This residence was situated on the northern bank of river Godavari at a lonely, serene, unpolluted area which was richly endowed by fruit-bearing trees like Kadamba, Panasa and Amra. Rama and Sita, along with the wise Lakshmana, started living happily at that place which was equivalent to the abode of Indra in its majesty, magnificence, charm and pleasantness. Rama always tried to keep the daughter of Janaka in good cheer. Lakshmana, who had devoted himself to the service of Rama, brought edible fruits, stems and fruits daily, and during the night he kept awake and maintained a strict vigil with a bow and arrow in hand, protecting their residence. All the three of them used to bathe daily in the river Gomati. During those days, Sita used to stay betwixt the two brothers for the purpose of safety. Lakshmana used to bring water for them daily with a cheerful mind and served them diligently and devotedly. In this manner, the three of them lived there most happily and comfortably. One day, Lakshmana went to Rama, who was sitting alone, and spoke to him with humility. He wished to know from the all-knowing Rama the sure means for the attainment of moksha. He asked Rama to impart to him the jnana, that is the knowledge, along with vijnana, realization of the spiritual truth, augmented by devotion and renunciation of worldly values. He felt that there is no one else in this world other than Rama to expound this recondite theme. Rama replied, telling Lakshmana that he would speak on the most profound of all doctrines, which frees one immediately from delusions of this perplexing world. First of all, he would expound about the nature of Maya. Next, he would describe the steps that lead to Jnana, and after that to Vijnana, or knowledge accompanied with realization, and then to the Supreme Self, the Paramatman. The Paramatman is the object of the spiritual aspirant's quest. By knowing him, one is released from bhaya, fear of the repeated experience of birth and death in samsara. That force, by the power of which one falsely feels the sense of selfhood with regard to the body-mind, which in reality is not the self at all, that is Maya. This samsara, based on false identification, is entirely a creation of Maya. Rama tells Lakshmana that Maya is traditionally accepted as having two aspects, Vikshepa, or the projection, and Avarana, or the covering. Out of these two, the first one, Vikshepa, it is the power to create delusions, illusions, and confusions, actually creates the imaginary world, consisting of the entire gamut of subtle and gross elements, extending right from the Mahat Tattva up to Brahman, by virtue of differentiating between them. The other aspect of avidya, known as avarana, completely covers the real nature of the pure consciousness. On discrimination, the world of multiplicity is found only to be a product of delusion and not really existent. just like a rope is experienced as a snake. All that people hear, see, and remember are all unreal, like a dream or imagination. The body is the firm root of this tree of samsara. It is because of this body that one has ties of son, daughter, kith, kin, etc. No other form of connection with these can be traced between them and oneself. The Atma does not in any way need them. The body-mind is a combination of several factors: the 5 gross elements, the 5 subtle elements, the I sense or ahankara, intellect or buddhi, the 10 senses, that is 5 organs of perception and 5 organs of action, mind, that is manas, which is a reflection of pure consciousness, root nature, Moola Prakriti. The combination of all this is the kshetra or the body. The jiva is distinct from this complex that has been described. He is the spirit, a faultless embodiment or a reflection of the Paramatma, which is free from happiness and sorrow. Rama now goes on to tell Lakshmana the means by which the truth about this jiva could be ascertained. The jiva, that is the microcosmic soul, and the Paramatma or the macrocosmic soul are actually synonymous with each other. Both mean and indicate the same entity. Therefore, do not entertain identification with the body as oneself. Avoid fraud, oppression, and infliction of pain on other beings. Bear with fortitude the criticisms and persecutions of others. Be without crookedness. Be devoted to a true teacher and serve him with mind, speech, and body. Observe purity, mental and physical. Be steady in the performance of virtuous acts. Control your mind, speech, and body. Have no longing for sense objects. Be free from egoism. Be aware always of the evils of birth, old age, etc. Be non-attached to sons, wife, etc. Avoid cherishing towards them affection that partakes of partiality. Be equanimous when desirable and undesirable experiences come. Have constant devotion to Rama, who is the soul of all beings. Do not concern your mind with matters that are not spiritual. Resort to holy places that are free from crowds of men. Never feel attraction for the company of worldly minded people. Let the search for the Atman be your sole quest. Always be reflecting in your mind about the truth of scriptural dicta. The practice of these disciplines will lead to jnana, the knowledge of the spirit. In their absence, the result will be the contrary. Jnana, or the knowledge of the spirit, is that knowledge by which one gets certitude that the real I is distinct from buddhi, prana, ahankara, manas, and the body, but is, on the other hand, one with pure consciousness, eternal, pure, and wakeful. When this conviction becomes a constant realization or actuality, that is called vijnana or enlightenment. The Atman fills everything. He is the nature of pure consciousness and bliss. He has no destruction. He is free from attachment, aversion, etc., which are the characteristics of his adjuncts like buddhi. He is free from all transformations, which are the characteristics of the products of Prakriti and its evolutes. It is he who endows the body-mind with consciousness and himself stands self-revealed. He is the one without a second whose existence can never be covered up or sublated. This eternal witness, unrelated to anything and self-revealing, comes to be understood through realization. When, through the instruction of the scripture and the teacher, the understanding of unity of the individual self with the Supreme Self dawns on the mind of an aspirant, then the root ignorance, Moola Avidya, along with its cause and its effect, dissolve into the Supreme Self. That state is called Mukti or liberation. Rama had expounded to Lakshmana his true nature along with the teachings regarding its knowledge and its realization. All this doctrine about bondage and liberation is secondary. They are not actual, for the Atman is ever free. But the supreme truth about the Atman never dawns in the minds of people who are without devotion to Rama. Just like a person cannot see any sign or mark with his eyes in the darkness of the night and can only see it in the light of lamp, similarly, only he who has devotion to Rama can experience or witness the Atma. So Rama goes on to tell some of the factors that generate that bhakti or devotion to him. These paths of devotion are association with his devotees, adoring service of Rama, constant service of his devotees, observance of the vow of Ekadashi and the like, keen interest in listening to, reading and exposition of accounts of Rama's excellences, adherence to his ceremonial worship, repetition of his name and hymning about his attributes. Those who are constantly devoted to these disciplines gain unshakable devotion to Rama. What else is there to gain than this? Therefore, one who is endowed with devotion to Rama attains knowledge, non-attachment and enlightenment quickly. Thereby, he attains mukti. Rama had expounded these teachings to Lakshmana in response to his query. He also says that these teachings should never be imparted even under compulsion to those who have no trace of devotion, while those who are his sincere devotees should purposefully and deliberately be explained and made to understand it. Whoever studies this daily with faith and devotion succeeds in shattering the thick darkness of ignorance and attains liberation. Whoever is devoted to him, practices communion with him, is pure in heart and calm in mind, understands the nature of the self to be purity, is devoid of attachments, and is ever striving in the spiritual path, to such a person whose mind never goes to anything other than the service of holy men and holy causes, moksha is an achievement already in hand. Rama keeps himself present in front of the vision of such a person. Except this, there is no other way to have his darshana. Moving on with the chanting now. Chaturtha sargah Shri Mahadeva uvacha Marge vrajanda darshatha Shaila shringamiva sthitam Vruddham jatayusham Ramah Kimetaditi vismitah Dhanuranaya saumitre Rakshasoyam purasthitah Ityaha Lakshmanam Ramo Hanishyam Rishibakshakam Tachrutva Ramavachanam Gridrarad Bhayapiditah Vadharhoham Nate Rama Pitusteham Priyasakha Jatayurnama Bhadrante Gridroham Priyakrittava Panchavatyamaham Vatsye Tavaiva Priyakamyaya Mrigayayam Kadachittu Prayate Lakshmane Picha Sita Janaka Kanya Me Rakshitavya Prayatnatah Shrutva Tadgridravachanam Ramassa Sneham Abravit Sadhu Gridra Maharaja Tathaiva Kuru Me Priyam Atraiva Me Samipastho Nati Dureva Nevasan Ityamantrita Malinghya Yayau Panchavatim Prabhu Lakshmanena Sahabratra Sitaya Raghunandanaha Gatva De Gautami Tiram Panchavatyam Suvistaram Mandiram Karayamasa Lakshmanena Subuddhina Tatra Tenyavasan Sarve Gangaya Uttare Tate Kadamba Panasamradi Phalavriksha Samakule Vivikte Janasambadha Varjite Nirujasthale Vinodayan Janakajam Lakshmanena Vipaschita Adhyuvasa Sukham Ramo Devalokaiva Paraha Kandamula Paladhini Lakshmano Nudinam Tayoho Aniya Pradadau Rama Seva Tatparamanasah Dhanurbana Dharo Nityam Ratrau Jagarti Sarvatah Snanam Kurvantyanudinam Trayaste Gautami Jale उभयोर्मध्यगासीता कुरुते च गमागमौ आनीय सलिलं नित्यं लक्ष्मणः प्रीतमानसः सेवते हरः प्रीत्या एवमासन् सुखं त्रयः एकदा लक्ष्मणो राममेकान्ते समुपस्थितं विनयावनतो भूत्वा पप्रच्छ परमेश्वरं भगवन् श्रोतुमिच्छामि मोक्षस्यैकान्तिकीं गतिं त्वत्तः कमलपत्राक्ष संक्षेपाद्वक्तुमर्हसि ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं भक्तिवैराग्यबृंहितम् आचक्ष्व मे रघुश्रेष्ठ वक्ता नान्योऽस्ति भूतले। श्रीराम उवाच शृणु वक्ष्यामि ते वत्स गुह्याद् गुह्यतरं परं यद्विज्ञाय नरो जह्यात् सद्यो वैकल्पकं भ्रमम् आदौ मायास्वरूपं ते वक्ष्यामि तदनन्तरं ज्ञानस्य साधनं पश्चात् ज्ञानविज्ञानसंयुतं ज्ञेयं च परमात्मानं यज्ञात्वा मुच्यते भयात् अनात्मनि शरीरादावात्मबुद्धिस्तु या भवेत् सैव मायातयैवासौ संसारः परिकल्प्यते रूपे द्वे निश्चिते पूर्वे मायायाः कुलनन्दन विक्षेपावरणे तत्र प्रथमं कल्पयेत् जगत् लिङ्गाद्य ब्रह्मपर्यन्तं स्थूलसूक्ष्मविभेदतः अपरं त्वत्किलं ज्ञानरूपमावृत्य तिष्ठति मायया कल्पितं विश्वं परमात्मनि केवले रज्जौ भुजङ्गवद्भ्रान्त्या विचारे नास्ति किञ्चन श्रूयते दृश्यते यद्यत् स्मर्यते वा नरैः सदा असदेव हि तत्सर्वं यथा स्वप्नमनोरथो देह एव हि संसार वृक्षमूलं दृढं स्मृतं तन्मूलः पुत्रदारादि बन्धः किं तेऽन्यतात्मनः देहस्तु स्थूलभूतानां पञ्चतन्मात्रपञ्चकम् अहङ्कारश्च बुद्धिश्च इन्द्रियाणि तथा दश चिदाभासो मनश्चैव मूलप्रकृतिरेव च एतत् क्षेत्रमिति ज्ञेयं देह इत्यभिधीयते एतैर्विलक्षणो जीवः परमात्मा निरामयः तस्य जीवस्य विज्ञाने साधनान्यपि मे शृणु जीवश्च परमात्मा च पर्यायो नात्र भेदधीः मानाभावस्तथा दम्भ हिंसादि परिवर्जनम् पराक्षेपादिसहनं सर्वत्रावक्रता तथा मनोवाक्काय सद्भक्त्या सद्गुरोः परिसेवनं बाह्याभ्यन्तरसंशुद्धिः स्थिरता सत्क्रियादिषु मनोवाक्काय दण्डश्च विषयेषु निरीहता निरहङ्कारता जन्म जराद्यालोचनं तथा असक्तिः स्नेहशून्यत्वं पुत्रदारधनादिषु इष्टानिष्टागमे नित्यं चित्तस्य समता तथा मयि सर्वात्मके रामे ह्यनन्यविषया मतिः जनसम्बाधरहित शुद्धदेशनिषेवणम् प्राकृतैर्जनसङ्घैश्च ह्यरतिः सर्वदा भवेत् आत्मज्ञाने सदोद्योगो वेदान्तार्थवलोकनम् उक्तैरेतैर्भवे ज्ञानं विपरीतैर्विपर्ययः बुद्धिप्राणमनोदेहाहङ्कृतिभ्यो विलक्षणः चिदात्माहं नित्यशुद्धो बुद्धये वेति निश्चयम् येन ज्ञानेन संवित्ते तज्ज्ञानं निश्चितं च मे विज्ञानं च तदैवैतत् साक्षादनुभवेद्यदा आत्मा सर्वत्र पूर्णस्य चिदानन्दात्मको व्ययः बुद्ध्याद्युपाधिरहितः परिणामादिवर्जितः स्वप्रकाशेन देहादीन् भासयन्ननपावृतः एक एवाद्वितीयश्च सत्ययज्ञादिलक्षणः असङ्गस्वप्रभो द्रष्टा विज्ञानेनावगम्यते आचार्यशास्त्रोपदेशाद्यैकज्ञानं यदा भवेत् आत्मनोर्जीवपरयोः मूला विद्या तदैव हि लीयते कार्यकरणैः सहैव परमात्मनि सावस्था मुक्तिरित्युक्ता ह्युपचारोऽयमात्मनि इदं मोक्षस्वरूपं ते कथितं रघुनन्दन ज्ञानविज्ञानवैराग्य सहितं मे परात्मनः किन्त्वेतद्दुर्लभं मन्ये मद्भक्तिविमुखात्मनां चक्षुष्मतामपि तथा रात्रौ सम्यग् न दृश्यते पदं दीपसमेतानां दृश्यते सम्यगेव हि एवं मद्भक्तियुक्तानामात्मा सम्यक् प्रकाशते मद्भक्तेः कारणं किञ्चित् वक्ष्यामि शृणु तत्त्वतः मद्भक्तसङ्गो मत्सेवा मद्भक्तानां निरन्तरम् एकादश्युपवासादि मम पर्वानुमोदनम् मत्कथाश्रवणे पाठे व्याख्याने सर्वदा रतिः मत्पूजा परिनिष्ठा च मम नामानुकीर्तनम् एवं सततयुक्तानां भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी मयि सञ्जायते नित्यं ततः किम् अवशिष्यते अतो मद्भक्तियुक्तस्य ज्ञानं विज्ञानमेव च वैराग्यं च भवेत् शीघ्रं ततो मुक्तिम् अवाप्नुयात् कथितं सर्वमेतत्ते तव प्रश्नानुसारतः अस्मिन् मनः समाधाय यस्तिष्ठेत् स तु मुक्तिभाक् न वक्तव्यमिदं यत्नान् मद्भक्तिविमुखाय हि मद्भक्ताय प्रदातव्यम् आहूयापि प्रयत्नतः य इदं तु पठेन्नित्यं श्रद्धा भक्तिसमन्वितः अज्ञानपटलध्वान्तं विधूय परिमुच्यते भक्तानां मम योगिनां सुविमलस्वान्तातिशान्तात्मनां मत्सेवाभिरतात्मनां च विमलज्ञानात्मनां सर्वदा सङ्गं यः कुरुते सदोद्यतमतिस्तत्सेवनानन्यधीः मोक्षस्तस्य करे स्थितोऽहम् अनिशं दृश्यो भवेनान्यथा इति श्रीमद्ध्यात्मरामायणे उमामहेश्वरसंवादे अरण्यकाण्डे चतुर्थः सर्गः।